So picture this. In a quiet Russian town, there's a grave that's become this huge pilgrimage site. But it's not for a king or some war hero. Nope, it's for a little boy who died when he was just 10 years old. So who on earth was this child? And why did thousands of people call him the Russian angel?
I mean, look at this. We're talking about buses, actual buses full of people traveling from all over the country just to visit this spot. They hold services, they pray, they're looking for help. It's basically a modern-day holy site, and it's all centered on the memory of one child, Vyacheslav Krasheninnikov, or Slavichka for short. And that, of course, raises the big question.
You have to wonder, right? What could possibly happen in a 10-year life that would inspire this kind of devotion decades later? To even begin to understand, we have to go all the way back to the beginning, to a story that, at least according to his mother, was just packed with miracles right from the start.
Now, Slavichka's story doesn't just kick off with his birth. No, the strange events leading up to it are a huge part of the legend. His mother, Valentina, remembered a whole series of moments that made her think he was special, long before he ever said a single word.
Think about this for a second. His mother was so blown away by him that she actually asked him if his being born into their simple family was some kind of cosmic error. And his answer, for a little kid, it's just staggering. He basically told her he chose their family as a reward for how pious their ancestors were.
So the backstory here is really important. The family had this deep history of faith. They'd also just gone through this awful tragedy, losing a baby. But then, a month before Slavichka was born, his mom hears this beautiful music out of nowhere, which an old woman tells her is a good sign. And then, the birth itself happens, and that's when things get really extraordinary.
Okay, this is where the story takes a sharp turn into the bizarre. Valentina says this incredibly calm nurse with these amazing aquamarine eyes brought her the baby. But here's the kicker. She's in a ward with 10 other women. And when she tries to point out the nurse, nobody knows what she's talking about. No one else saw her. They searched the hospital staff and, you guessed it, no one matched her description.
So before this mystery nurse just vanishes into thin air, she quietly tells Valentina that her son was with lots of moles. His mom checks him over, but his skin is perfectly clear. She kind of just shrugs it off. But then, 3 years go by and little moles start appearing all over his body, exactly like the strange woman from the hospital predicted. As Slavichka got older, the strange things didn't stop. Actually, they started happening more often, and they got way more specific. It all seemed to center on his crazy ability to see things other people couldn't, not just in the present, but in the future too. Just being around him was apparently a little unsettling. A neighbor said she felt like he could look right through her, like he knew all her secrets. Get this, even his own older brother said he was too afraid to ask him to do a simple chore like grab his slippers, because it just felt wrong, like he was ordering around someone incredibly important.
And his so-called predictions produced some really startling claims. When he was just a toddler, surrounded by Communist Party officials, he just blurts out, "There will be no communists soon." This was years before the Soviet Union collapsed. He told his first-grade teacher she was pregnant with a girl before she even knew. And the most chilling one, he told a woman he would die before he turned 11. He passed away from an illness at age 10.
Okay, so these personal prophecies are one thing, but Slavichka's knowledge supposedly went much, much deeper than that. He started talking about a version of reality that was completely different from everything he was learning in school, and frankly, everything we think of as scientific fact.
This was a real turning point. He went to school for just a little while, and he came home totally distressed. He told his mom flat out that everything they were teaching him, history, science, you name it, was all a lie. His entire worldview was in a head-on collision with his education.
And the difference was stark. I mean, school taught him the Earth is a globe. He said, nope, it's a flat plane sitting on 3 giant pillars. School taught him history from books. He said it was all lies. And my personal favorite, when he learned that dinosaurs were extinct, he apparently just laughed and told his mom they were still alive and well, just living in huge caves under the ground.
You can imagine his poor mother was just trying to process all this. These weren't just the fantasies of a little kid. He was apparently speaking with tons of detail and authority. So she asked him to keep a diary, to just write down all this strange, otherworldly knowledge so she could at least try to understand it.
And right here, the story takes another mysterious twist. After Slavichka was buried, while the family was at the cemetery, somebody apparently entered their home. But when they got back, they found that only very specific things were gone. The diary with all his knowledge, a lock of his hair, and one of their wedding candles.
Nothing else was touched.
So, if we take this whole story at face value, what was the point of this short, very strange life? Well, according to his mother, Slavakoshka was actually super clear about why he was here and what he was supposed to be doing.
He apparently told her, plain and simple, that he wasn't here for himself. He said his mission was to help other people, to warn them that difficult times were coming, and to help them find redemption. He claimed all the gifts he had were for other people. He kept nothing for himself.
So when you put all these accounts together, this is the picture that emerges. A healer, a prophet, an ancient soul in a little kid's body. He once told his mom he was almost ancient and described flying to Earth through some kind of celestial tunnel. This is the figure that pilgrims travel all that way to honor, a guide, a helper, a modern folk saint.
And that really leaves us with the central question, doesn't it? What exactly is the story of the Russian angel? Is it the true account of a prophet who is sent with a divine message? Is it the birth of a new folk saint in our modern times? Or is it the powerful, loving, and maybe even embellished memory of a mother just trying to make sense of losing her truly extraordinary child? The answer, it seems, really depends on what you choose to believe.